Yeah.
I think that wouldn't be good, and I want to stop it before it becomes a behavior.
Yeah.
But I don't know how.
Yes, I hear you saying is that you recognize that there is an issue, and that's why you have kind of come into the counseling process, and that's great that you recognized it. That's a huge first step, but trying to get out of that habit before it really becomes something that you don't want it to become can be so challenging and overwhelming. And when you pray, do you feel like maybe more at peace after you pray, or do you still feel like your heart is restless?
Well, there's probably a little of both. I mean, it depends on how stressful I am at the time. If I'm really stressed, the prayer is good, but it doesn't really take me down a step. And if I'm not as stressed, then there's a little more of a comfort to it. But yeah, it's kind of like depends. Yeah, it depends on how the day went, how we're getting along, how everything is, and how I see the world that day.
Yeah. So you mentioned that the stress is also at work when you're kind of just.
I think I carried over to that, and so put people on edge.
Yeah.
I manage a small little department, and there's 4 or 5 people, and I'm sure that they've seen the difference, and nobody's going to say anything. And it wouldn't bother me if they did, but it's not a real interactive thing. Like, these people work fairly independently with what they do with their projects. They're given a task, they do the task, and they're good at it. They're all good at it. But they've seen my behavior, so I mean, the communication is still there, but it's less. They're less apt to want to come and be just general conversation communication, pretty much staying right to task. And it used to not be like that.
Yeah, so on the one hand, you kind of bring what you are experiencing maybe in your home life, and you kind of bring it into your place of work. But on the other hand, maybe you're not seeking out that feedback from your colleagues and your coworkers to really get an understanding.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
And so, what would it be like if you sought some of that feedback from your coworkers to see really how they view you and how that compares to how you view yourself?
I don't know. I mean, I can't honestly say, because I don't know. I mean, I could call a meeting and talk with them, maybe apologize for some of the things that are going on, and let them know that it's not them, and that I haven't done that yet.
Yeah. So do you think, if you were to take that step, would it help you? Do you think that it would help you, or are you just still unsure of
it might. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's hard to let other people know that you're going through something, but sometimes it's better. I guess. I don't know. You would know better than I would on that. It's just never been my thing to do that. But I mean, I'm willing to try anything at this point.
Yeah.
Before it gets out of hand, it's building, and I don't want it to build. I want it to decrease, not increase. So.
Yeah. I think what I hear you saying is that you're still unsure about going through with maybe opening up that conversation with your coworkers, but I'm thinking that maybe they can speak some wisdom into you, or kind of give you some
I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah, to kind of see hey, this is how we see it, or hey, this is how. You don't have to tell them your whole
no,
marriage issues.
It would be more of a apology, and sorry, there's just some things going on. Never know, one of them might bite and say, hey,
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, that you gain that connection in a sense, because some people might be like, hey, I struggle too, and they might even offer you some advice on how they've kind of coped with things maybe that are stressing them out at home, and
Yeah.
how they kind of handle it in the work environment, because the work environment can be very stressful and can trigger
Yeah.
those feelings for you.
It's generally not a stressful work environment.
Yeah.
But I might be making a little more. It's still mild, but I mean, I'm sure I put a little more pressure, a little more distance than needs to be there. I mean, than there was, and I'm sure they're not sure what the hell's going on.
Yeah, but just like kind of building that community it sounds like is what something that we have to work on together, is where can you find that community? It could be in your workplace, it can be in your neighborhood, it can be with your church or your friend groups, just to see if there's anyone that can relate to maybe what you're going through or has gone through similar situations, that can really speak light into your guys' lives, so that you can continue moving forward, as opposed to just kind of staying stuck in your pit that you seem to find yourself in.
Yeah, I'm sure there's folks that are a lot worse off than we are, but when you're in it, you don't see that. You just see right in front of you what's there.
And so we gotta figure out some ways to kind of like restore your vision in a sense, because right now you just stated that it's blocked. Like you only see kind of like the situation at hand, that you're struggling, with financing and trying to support your son while he's in school, but then like it's straining on your marriage as well. And so we need to kind of like uncloud that vision so that you can kind of see and look ahead, as opposed to just kind of focusing right in on your circumstances.
Well, I mean, I'm sure I could set up a meeting with the pastor or one of his associates, and kind of get more in depth on it. I mean, that probably wouldn't be a bad idea. I do need to apologize to the people that I work with, and just see how that comes out.
Yeah, I think that's the first, great step, to try to reach out to the pastor just to see if they have any advice. I think a lot of times maybe some families don't approach pastors because they're like, they probably got a lot going on, but in reality, like that's, they're there to shepherd their flock. And so, maybe reaching out and seeing if that conversation can be had brings to light some things that you can continue working through, or even gain wisdom about as the pastor speaks light, into your guys' lives.
Well, we can try that, and I can report back how what the results of that was.
Yeah, I'd love to know, the progress and how things are going with that. Once you have those conversations.
Well, I'll see what I can set up. It shouldn't be that difficult. I mean, it's just a timing thing.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, I thank you so much just for coming in and for your time. And I hope that next time that we come and reconvene, that we can continue working through some of those family stresses that you're just experiencing and trying to navigate through.
Well, hopefully I'll have some information as to what others have said on this to give you a little insight of what they see.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Yeah. Do you mind if I pray for you?
No, not at all.
Okay. Heavenly Father, I just thank you so much for Gary's presence here. I thank you for bringing him into this session. I pray that as he goes about his week, that you would just fill your spirit onto him, and that you would fill him with your peace, and that no matter the stresses that he experiences at home, that he would be reminded that you are with him. God, I pray that you would fill him with community, and that you would surround him with a community that can speak onto his problems, and that your light would just shine so bright that he can't miss it, God. I pray that he has a great rest of his week, and he can't wait to see what he has to say for next time, and it's all in your holy name. Amen.
Amen.